Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Paul's Monday Market Update, number 230 in for Monday, 6th of July, 2026. I hope you're all well. I hope you've had a good weekend. I hope you're sort of not too bleary-eyed and struggling for those of you like myself who stayed up to watch that football match last night. So it was worth it. I'm glad that it was not only was it a good result, but it was actually a great game to watch and stuff. And so I can live with that. All right, I would have been a bit different had I just stayed up all that time to watch a 0-0 ball draw. But anyway, we go on. Paul's Monday Market Update. Okay, if you're here in the room, I hope you can hear me. Hope you can see the slides. Okay, and that the technology is working fine for us. Those of you joining us for the first time, the Monday Market Update is just that. It is me flying through as much as I can cram into the next 25-30 minutes, looking at strength and weakness within the FX markets, looking at a few charts of interest, then a look at the live markets. It's not a signal service. It's not trade recommendations. It's just me sharing what I'm looking at, which may help you with your own analysis. As always, you are very welcome here, but just remember you're always responsible for your own trading and investing decisions. And as always, if you want a little bit of help and support, we're about to start the Q3 VTP Trader Accountability Group. All right, so just a small group that helps you build discipline, accountability, and consistency. Okay, with other serious, dedicated traders. Once again, there's a bit.ly code there or a QR code, or you can ping me if you've got any questions. All right, let's finish with sterling. So what am I seeing here? Okay, cable on the daily, euro sterling on the daily, pound Aussie, pound CAD, pound yen, pound Swiss, pound New Zealand, FTSE. All right, well, we've already looked at FTSE. If we look at cable as always, okay, bang, weekly chart has been scruffy, hasn't it? It has been scruffy, but we have been working our way down. We were S1S, okay, Stan 1S. But you can see I look at that as a bit of a kind of a scruffy weekly morning star for myself. And then you look and say, well, okay, has it got legs to move higher? Well, it was actually kind of a nice reverse there, okay, over the last couple of weeks. And we popped up. Question for me is, does it have what it takes to get above that kind of 134 area, that 50, that 200? If it does, all right, if it does, that's pretty good for sterling, okay? If it falters here, okay, and then comes back to the 20, well then, as I said, I think a lot of these things will be predicated on who the new chancellor is going to be, all right? So, it's been a good run for the last couple of weeks, okay, but whether that's the obstacle that I see it need to work its way through off that. Listen, pound against yen, as we said, we've just said yen is weakening, and you can see that kind of that big daily sort of triangle, and we've broken out of it, come back, tested it, and today yen weakened again. All right, that's what we're seeing there. Pound Swiss, okay, you've heard me talk about this. This is the daily chart, okay, and how we kind of worked our way up. That has been for the last 5-6 weeks. That has been Swiss franc weakening. Okay, I'd say that more so than sterling strengthening. But there's been some nice flag moves, and we continue to sort of grind our way higher there on. We were above the averages. The averages are all fanning out, and it's just working its way nicely there. That is, as I said, probably an element of Swiss weakness. Pound against Aussie on the daily. That as well has been grinding its way higher. Okay, with a couple of interesting flag patterns pushing its way higher, right, working its way up there, and that is just, as I said, a bit of a reflection of some Aussie weakness that we've seen. Pound against New Zealand dollar, messy, all right, but we've broken out, and now we've gone into another block. Can we now, in the same way we blocked out here, pound against New Zealand dollar, are we in a position to break out of that again? Okay, so I'd be watching that to see how we play out that by the end of the week. There was a little bit of Kiwi news, okay? So we've got the kind of Kiwi Royal Bank of New Zealand statement there, okay, sort of into Wednesday morning. So people are interested to see if there'll be a hike there, okay? That might be interesting. That might be the thing that puts the cat amongst the pigeon. Pound against Canadian dollar. This is Stam. All right, this is Stam. This is basically, sterling strength and Canadian dollar weakness. That's what you're seeing there, and it's just worked its way. The 20 has acted as really nice support, kind of counter trend line breaks, and it's just worked its way higher. That is sterling strength, Canadian weakness. Let's finish with euro sterling. Kind of interesting. You've heard me going on about it for, well, months now about that kind of 82.20, 82, sorry, 86.20, 86 area there that you can see, and talking about could it hold the support? Yeah, each of the highs were getting lower. Bang. That's classic descending triangle, isn't it? That's what we saw basically last week. I talked about it last week about how we'd had a strong day, but it couldn't close above the averages or above that kind of 86.25, 86.30 area, and it's just continued to work its way down there. Okay, and maybe that is kind of a little bit of sterling giddiness and a little bit of euro weakness as perhaps people realize the rate hikes coming out of Europe are not going to be as big and as strong as people expected. Okay, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. All right, there. Let's draw it to a close there. As always, I appreciate you coming up and joining us for a session. I do realize that I'm flying through, okay, trying to scram in as much as I possibly can. But I hope you found that useful. I hope that gives you a little bit of help and insight you can utilize for your own trading this week. I hope you have a fabulous trading week, everybody. Trade well, and I will speak to you soon. Take care, everybody. Cheers.